Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Acer laptop. This one is an Acer Predator Helios 500. The exact model for this one is a PH517-51-97QK. Also, the model that comes on the bottom sticker, it's the N17Q11. Those information that I just mentioned can be found at the bottom of the laptop, right on the bottom sticker right here. It will tell you the Acer Helios 500, the model exact is PH517-51 series, and the model number N17Q11. And in this video, I'm going to go over how you can open it up and how you can service, clean up, and repaste your laptop at home. And I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using, and everything that I use will be linked in my video description in case you want to purchase yours. All right, so let's go over the tools. Tool number one, it's one sheet of the workshop towel, 1 or 2 sheets. 1 sheet is preferably. You need a screwdriver set. I recommend you to use an UFIXTEK screwdriver set, as they have one of the best bits out there. We are going to be using bit Phillips number 1. These are made out of S2 class steel. And if you get the Pro set, they will include you opening tools and a few other stuff. If not, grab yourself a guitar pick. And metallic guitar picks are really suitable to opening cases and covers. You need a good thermal paste, Arctic MX4. And the most important one, it's an alcohol. Isopropyl or isopropylic alcohol, 95% plus, it must be. Don't get anything under 90. Also, you need a tweezers, curved or straight tweezers. It's a must-have. And with all this on hand, we're going to get it started. First thing first, you want to power off the laptop. And first, we're going to start removing the bottom service cover. There's 2 screws that we need to remove. So we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws. The screws are the same size and height, so don't worry about mismatching them. Once you remove this screw, you want to put your fingernails right at the bottom, right in here where there's a 2 logo for the service cover hard drive. And you want to pull it up really hard, and it will should come out, and then slide it outward. And there you can see all the dirty on the bottom cover. You can grab a toothbrush and take it outside and clean it up. All right. Next, down here, we're going to see the battery. First, we're going to start disconnecting the battery by pulling this jack, putting your fingernails at the side of the jack and sliding it back evenly. And there we have it. Then you just simply, there's no screws, just hold it from the back side, bring it up a little bit, and then slide it backward. And there's your battery, in case. And we're going to clean up the battery too. Next, we're going to remove the heatsink for NVMe drive right here. There's only 1 screw on the front side, holds it. Put the screw, and then once you remove it, just lift up the heatsink, bring it upward, and then slide it forward. As a thermal pad, there's only 1 SSD here. If you have a second one, then there should be a second pad. Put that one right there. We're going to remove the SSD by removing 1 screw, and then sliding the SSD backward. Next, we're going to remove the mechanical drive on this side. First, we're going to disconnect the cable by pulling this flip thing upward and then run the cable. Remove 2 screws on the cover right here. And then you want to pick up this cover upward and then slide it towards the back end. And now you want to lift up gently from this side up. So let me try to get a guitar pick. You want to put it under this one here. Lift it up, bring it up, and then once you're up at 45 degrees, and then slide it towards the fan. And there's 1 terabyte Western Digital. All right, now we're gonna disconnect few cables. We're gonna disconnect this cable. This is for the subwoofer, I believe. So pull up the jack. This is for the speakers. Pull up the jack. For the trackpad, we're gonna lift up the hinge the latch right here, lifted up the latch 90 degree and slide out the flex cable. Once we have those out, then we're going to start removing the rest of the screws. We're going to start from one corner and we're going to remove all the screws. The screws are labeled 2.5 M12 2.5 times L7. So keep those in one pile and the rest of them keep them in a different pile. But majority of these ones are the same size. So let's measure. Yeah, so pretty much all the screws down here, they should be the same size. So keep them in one pile. So I'm going to start from one corner and I'm going to remove all the screws. Even under the battery, under the cover, in the corners, everything. Also, if you guys like my videos, if you find my videos helpful and helping you guys to do your own service upgrades, you can support the channel by clicking the like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. Okay, these screws are really deep, so I might have used a different screwdriver to reach there. You can use a long screwdriver. This is a flat, small, long screwdriver with a magnet. So I can even reach these screws right down there. So double check, make sure you have removed all the screws. And sometimes under these rubber legs down here, there will be screws too. So you want to make sure that you remove everything. I missed the one in the corner here. Okay. Missed this one right over here. Alright, once all the screws are removed, now we're gonna open up the laptop a little bit. And we need to separate the palm rest and the bottom casing. We're gonna stick the guitar pick, the opening tool between the top and the bottom cover right there, and we're just gonna twist it around. And we're gonna hear a whole bunch of clicks. We wanna work ourselves on the sides, go to the back corner, on the left and on the right side. Once we did those, now we're gonna close it down. And we're going to lift it up, and we're going to lift up the front, and we're going to push it towards the back, and it should scoop out the back end. And there we have it. There's the bottom chassis, all dirty. So we're going to clean this one up. And down here, we got a humongous fan right there, big heat pipe. So this looks, it looks really, really dirty down there. So it must be clogged. So we're gonna get to it right now. This one has a 16 gig RAM. So the RAM is on the other side of the motherboard. It's really hard to get to. So you have to remove the whole motherboard. I'm gonna get to it. All right, first we're gonna disconnect the fan cables by pulling up these jacks upward. I don't like yanking on the cables, so I'm just gonna wiggle around and lift up the jack on both sides, on both fan. Okay. Now we're gonna remove the heatsink. Before we do that, we're gonna start. Before we remove the screws on the heatsinks here, we're gonna remove the fan screws. There are 3 on this side and 3 on the other fan. So go ahead and remove the screws. I believe this client had a cat or a dog, because there's a dog hair or cat hair. So let's go ahead and remove these screws. There we have. Now once we remove the screws in there, just double check. We're gonna remove the screws for the heatsink. They have a little C-lock, so they will not come out. You just have to twist them few rounds, and you're gonna feel it like it is already loose. So there we have it. So make sure all the screws are loose. We're gonna grab it, and we don't want to yank it from here. We want to yank it closer to the heatsink because this one has never been repaced. So I just pulled up a little bit, and I felt like a little click there. Like that's the thermal paste getting separated, and there's the one for that one, and I'm gonna lift it up and bring it up. Holy, this is a huge thermal heatsink. There's those pads. You can replace those pads if you want to, but they're not. They don't need to be. But if you want, you can go replace them. I'll tell you the size for them. These are 1.5 millimeter thermal pads. They all use 1.5 millimeter thermal pads everywhere, so you can replace them. All right. So let's put the laptop to one side for a second and work on the heatsink. So we already removed the screws, so we're gonna lift it up this way, and then we have the magic right there. Look at that, all this being clogged up right there. So this is why you should do your cleaning always. Okay, so we're gonna remove the excess of this fur things in here. We're gonna take the heatsink, the fan outside, and we're gonna blow some compressed air and a toothbrush and clean it up. So let's do this side. And there we have it. Oh my god. It is pretty clogged up. I'm gonna take it outside and clean up, and I'll be back and we're gonna clean up the heatsink. I took it outside and I cleaned up the fans, all nice and shiny, nice and clean. So, and we clean up the fan system, the whole thing. One thing I'm really surprised, the fan blades are made out of the aluminum or some kind of steel. The fans, they're not plastic. So they're pretty cool that they are made out of the metal. And they're like kind of very flexible metals right in there. So clean up both, clean up the fan. Okay, now we're gonna clean up the old thermal paste in here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab a little bit of the workshop towel and we're gonna soak it in an alcohol. And we're gonna rub on top of the die. There's a kind of spot right in here. I don't know if this is from the factory or something. There's a big discoloration or solder. It's really soft, but it's just kind of discoloration right in the middle. So once we clean up the heatsink, we're gonna clean up the GPU and the CPU. As long as you clean the die, you're more than fine. If you want to remove this bracket in here, it's really easy. All you need to do is to scoop up this cover right from here, bring it upward, and it has a little hooks on the side, so you can get in between those. Right there. There we have it. So we can put this to one side. You can remove this protection on top here. You don't actually need it, but if you want to remove it, you could. So because it really dries up. You can use a plastic spatula to do this. Be careful with the capacitors around it. Pretty much, you don't have to remove everything. As long as you clean the around the CPU die, you're more than fine. Grab another sheet of the workshop towel, soak it in there, put it on top so you can absorb all those extras. Okay, to remove this one, you can heat it up with a hair dryer or with a heat gun a little bit, and it will blend the tape right on top, so you can lift it up way easier. So I'm just gonna heat it up a little bit, and I'm gonna lift it up with a guitar pick. We're gonna clean it up a little better. So all we want to do, clean up nicely. There we have it. You can do a second pass with a dry side and make sure the crystal die is nice and clean. And once we clean it up, now we're gonna grab the metal sheet that we have here, and we gonna put a Kapton tape over to protect the components around it. So grab a Kapton tape, and we are gonna cut 4 sides, and we are gonna put it over around the capacitor. We make sure you do not put over the crystal die, always put around it on the capacitors. Do not go over the crystal die. Again, take your time doing this. You might want to do a better job than me, but doesn't matter. All right, so there we have it. Once we put that one in there, now all you need to do is to grab this heat plate, and we're gonna align it on the side of these ones. On the sides, they have a little clippers right there, few around it. You want to put it straight over, so it just grabs them nicely. Otherwise, it's not gonna go in place. And just push it down around it. If you want to replace the thermal pads, go ahead and replace the thermal pads, 1.5 mils. And next, you want to grab a thermal paste. You want to put a line over the CPU and a X shape over the GPU. After this, you want to grab the heatsink. You want to bring it down, align it, make sure the screw holes are aligned, and sit it down and tighten up the screws. They have a little number 1 and 1, 2 right there to follow the numbers. So this way the thermal paste is going to spread evenly across the CPU and GPU. There we have it. Next, you want to grab the fans, and you just want to slide them right in place. You don't have to tape them. This is for the airflow. Just plug in the fan connectors. And grab the other side. Bring it over. Put it in. Put the fan connector. And put the 3 screws for each fan. Okay, we didn't have to disconnect this trackpad here, so I'm gonna slide it back in and lock the latch. Make sure the cables are out of the way. And next step is to grab the bottom casing, the bottom housing right here. And you want to bring it down, and you want to scoop it from the back side by the heatsink all the way to the front. Bring it down, make sure it just clicks in, and bring it down evenly and squeeze the corners all the way in. Squeeze the front, make sure you hit those clicks. Plug in the speaker cables right in the middle right there. Plug in this subwoofer, and we're gonna grab the hard drive. We're gonna slide it first down under here, and we're gonna push it down and run the cable and push down the connector right inside the jack. You just push down and put the clip right over, slide it down like this and bring it down. Grab the SSD, bring it down in 45-degree angle inside the jack, all the way down there. Put the single screw for the SSD. Grab the heatsink for the SSD. Put the back end down. Make sure you grab the groove right there in the middle. Put the single screw right there. Put the 2 screws for the hard drive trackpad here. Okay, once we did this one, now all you need to do is to grab the battery. First, put the battery in offset position and connect the cable. And make sure the cable goes in straight, and then you want to put the front end in, slide, or it was the front end, and then push down the back right there. The 2 last screws are for the bottom cover, and we're gonna finish it up by putting up all the screws on the casing on the bottom, and then at the end put the cover on, and that's it. I hope you guys liked this video and helped you guys out. If it did, please click that like and subscribe. If you have any question or request, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Just gonna put all the screws and put the cover on top. And that's it.